Hi, welcome to Pierce College. I'm excited that you are thinking about becoming an elementary education major. As you navigate from Pierce College to the university of your choice, there are some things for you to keep in mind. The first is that the job forecast for elementary education teachers is looking really good. We have a Supreme Court decision in the McCleary case that said that Washington State is not fulfilling its constitutional mandate to fund a free public education for all of its residents. Some of the things that we're doing to comply with the McCleary decision include implementing full-day kindergarten and reducing class sizes kindergarten to third grade. Now, this is different than the public initiative that just passed, which would further increase the need for elementary school teachers. You can see from this chart up on the screen that comes from the Office for the Superintendent of Public Instruction that in the next 3 years, we're looking at a deficit of almost 7,000 teachers. So the good news is, if you get a job or if you get a degree in elementary education, you're really likely to get hired and get a job. The other thing to keep in mind is that our demographics in Washington State are becoming increasingly more diverse. So you can see in the graphic on the left what our population is looking like in our K-12 system right now. Specifically, if you look at race and ethnicity, you'll see that we have a pretty diverse population. And then if you look at the chart on the right, this is showing race and ethnicity of our teaching pool, our teaching workforce. And you'll see that there's a big difference there. It's really important that our workforce reflects the population that we're serving. So for those of you out there who are thinking about education and thinking, well, none of the teachers that I had going through school look like me, we need to change that, and you could help change that. So pathways. There are two main pathways to certification, one of which happens at the undergraduate level and the other that happens at the master's level. So I think that's your first big decision point to make. Either way, you're going to need the Associate of Arts Direct Transfer Agreement, the AA-DTA degree, but the requirements within that degree are going to be a little bit different depending on where you choose to go. Our main transfer institutions from Pierce College into undergraduate elementary certification are Central Washington University, and they have classes right here at Pierce College, Fort Steilacoom, Pacific Lutheran University, which is over in Spanaway, and then St. Martin's University, which holds classes at Tacoma Community College and at Joint Base Lewis McChord. The important thing to note about that is even though it's a private school, because you're taking classes off campus, you pay about half the tuition as you do if you take classes on their main campus down in Lacey. Each one of those institutions has a little bit different requirements for entry. For example, if you want to go to CWU, you'll need the 2 English classes. You need 2 math classes, the Math 131 and then the Math 132. 3 humanities classes, one of which they recommend communication, 3 natural science classes, and because you're going to be teaching elementary education and you have the broad spectrum of the sciences that you're teaching, it's recommended that one is an earth science, one is a life science, and one is a physical science. They also require psychology, sociology, and child development, and it just depends on which minor you have. So this worksheet is designed to get you into any of the 3 minors that go along with your elementary ed. They also require a lifespan development, Psych 200, EDUC 202, which is Introduction to Education, and EDUC 190, which is your field experience. And then you have room for 7 credits of electives of your choice. If you choose to go to PLU, the requirements have some similarities, you can see at the top, but then there are a little bit of differences down at the bottom. They want you to have Intro to Early Childhood Ed and then Psych 200 or Child Development. And if you take our Art for Children or Music for Children here as part of your electives, you don't have to take them there. They accept those into their program. St. Martin's is the one that's really significantly different than the other two. And you see that starting off with the math, that they require statistics instead of math for elementary majors, the communication, and then they also require a philosophy class, your 3 sciences, child development and psych, and then they want a history class. They also want a communications 105, which is a intercultural communications, a world history on top of the U.S. history, and a field experience class. Now be sure to ask your advisor for the most up-to-date worksheets because the requirements at the universities can change from time to time, and your advisor will have the most up-to-date information to give you when you make your decision about where you want to go. We do have a transfer fair every quarter, so that's a good time to talk with the recruiters from these institutions to see which one might be the best fit for you. If you are interested in getting certified at the master's level, then you can pretty much do any AADTA, pick the choices of classes that are most interesting to you. You'll go to Washington, the Evergreen State College, the University of Washington, or the University of Puget Sound, get your bachelor's degree, usually in liberal arts or maybe in history or English or some sort of subject that you might be a little bit more passionate about. And then you would do the Master's of Teaching to get certified to teach elementary education. Now, the way the current university structure is laid out is that you have to do all of your general education requirements here at the community college before you transfer, and you get to do kind of all of those fun education courses that you're really looking forward to. But I hope you keep in mind that you can change your mindset a little bit about those gen ed requirements. You're going to be teaching all of the subjects in elementary ed. So you need to make sure that you have a good foundation to be able to teach those courses. So as you're picking your communications classes and your quantitative skills classes and your social science and your natural science and your humanities classes, really be thinking about, in my preferred age group, what are the things that I might be teaching? And how can I use the classes that I'm taking at Pierce to build my knowledge and skills in those areas? And then to really keep yourself engaged. As you're sitting in those classes, be watching that professor and be thinking, how are they teaching this content? And what might this content look like in the elementary years? And what teaching strategies is this professor using? And how might I start incorporating those teaching practices into my mindset about becoming a teacher? So you have chosen an amazing career. And if you have any questions, do seek out an advisor, especially one in the education department, and we can answer any questions that you have.